Hey everyone and welcome to Storytime. My name is Jake and today we are going to be looking at the subreddit r/IDontWorkHereLady. So sit back, relax and enjoy some Reddit stories. The restaurant, the Karen and the Spatula. So this happened 2 days ago during my lunch break. While the Karen's screeching was not directed at me, I was able to observe it all go down firsthand. Backstory. I have been going to the same restaurant for lunch for the past 2 months. It's a small place, but the food is amazing, and prices are low. As any regular, I eventually got pretty friendly with the staff and the waiters. I tip well and always try to be smiling and nice. They deserve it. As such, I know everyone who works there and the manager's girlfriend. She comes in from time to time to have lunch around the same time I do, and we greet each other with a nod and a smile. That's all the backstory you need. Now the show. As usual, I arrive at around 1 PM and see the Karen walking just slightly behind me with her kid. I open the door to the restaurant and hold it open so they can pass. I'll let you guess if she said thank you or not. We go in and the restaurant is packed. There are only 3 open tables. So Karen and her kid take one and I take the other. Literally a minute later, the manager's girlfriend, GF from now on, walks in. She goes up to the bar and talks with her boyfriend briefly. Due to the chaos, both of the waiters are overwhelmed, and the manager's girlfriend helps one of them carry a set of trays to a table. She is cool like that and sits down on the last remaining table. Admittedly, service was kind of slow, but due to the sheer amount of people, it was understandable. Well, understandable for me, not the Karen. At some point, she just scoffs and bolts up, walking to the manager's girlfriend's table. "Excuse me, can we order?" The manager's girlfriend was caught off guard. "I'm sorry, what?" "Can we order? We've been waiting for 10 minutes. "You will have to ask a waiter, I don't work here." "Of course you do, I saw you carry trays." "That was just to help." "And now you are taking your break? You just came in, how can you be so lazy?" "Seriously ma'am, I don't work here." "BS, I saw you, you have to take my order." At this point, a waiter manages to get to them. Meanwhile, I can see her daughter literally trying to unsubscribe from existence. "Ma'am, is there a problem here?" "This lazy witch won't take my order." "She doesn't work here. I can..." Karen cuts him off. "I saw her working. I want to talk to your manager. She can't behave like that." The waiter just shrugs and asks the manager to come. "Ma'am, what's going on?" "She refuses to serve me. You have to discipline her right now." The manager, without even blinking, "I will be sure to spank her with the hardest spatula we have later, but at the moment she doesn't work here and can't help you. Waiter here will be happy to take your order." Karen is just sitting there, mouth gaping, as if she was struck by the lightning of Zeus himself. The restaurant is quiet, the manager's girlfriend is blushing a bit but smiling. I am doing my best not to laugh out loud and failing. You can hear muffled chuckles from the other tables. After about 20 seconds, the Karen huffs and drags her poor kid out of the restaurant. I tipped a lot that day. Everyone is commending that line, trying to unsubscribe from existence, and yeah, that is definitely the best line I've heard of that. "Why yes, I will come to work for you for near slave wages, neighbor. Let me just get my things." Yesterday, our community had a cleanup day. We've had some problems recently with people trashing the playgrounds, leaving garbage along the streets, and just in general not being great neighbors. So to counteract that a bit, the neighborhood association organized a day to clean up those areas. There have been emails and flyers about the day for months. Everyone who volunteered had a job. Mine happened to be helping pull out and replant some plants that have been destroyed. My husband was on the same team. My team members and I had been at it for about an hour or so when a guy pulls up in a truck. We'll call him Raiders fan, because he's an Oakland Raiders fan. Anyway, the Raiders fan pulls up and yells out the window to my husband and the guy helping him. Hubby is my husband. Guy helping him is nice guy because he's nice. Now keep in mind, we sort of know the Raiders fan. We're not friends, but we know him enough to chat when we're out for walks and stuff. He knows where my husband works and what he does. Not today though. Today, he thinks my neighbor and the rest of us are landscapers or laborers, or something. And scene. I'm looking for some people to come do landscaping work around my house. I'm offering $7 an hour. Can you spare anyone? What? I need some help around my house. Can anyone on your crew help me? I mean, they can come after they clock out if you can't spare them, and they want to make some extra money today. We're actually not a work crew, we're here for the community cleanup day. You should have received a flyer about it a couple of weeks ago. Uh-huh, so this is like a prison thing, where you have to do community service? No, this is a community service project organised by the Neighbourhood Association. You're welcome to join us if you'd like to help. At that point, Raiders fan looked at Nice Guy like he had two heads and said, "Why would I want to do that? This isn't my job." I think at that point, the look on my husband's face made him really look at him. And he realised he'd been talking to his neighbours and not some random landscaping crew he can be abusive to. He suddenly laughed and said, "Just kidding, I'm very busy today, thanks for helping out." Then he sped off. Let me just unpack this. Number 1, what? Number 2, $7 an hour to work on landscaping projects in the hot sun? You can work in the air-conditioned comfort of any fast food restaurant for more money than that. Number 3, there are people all over the community today working, and there are people literally 20 feet from us, handing out water and getting lunch ready. I'm seriously worried about his eyes, because he'd have to be blind to not realize it's a community event. Not to mention the fact that there are children running around helping. And he thinks we're convicted criminals doing community service? Everyone's mentioning, oh, $7 is super low, but even if this guy had been going, oh, does anyone want to come do it for $20, but he talks like that and is abusive to everyone, then why would anyone want to go work for him? Entitled woman at Universal Studios Japan. I am a 24-year-old female working in Osaka, Japan. Naoko, a work friend, invited me to Universal Studios Japan. I agreed because Universal Studios Japan has owls. Live, adorable, real owls at the Harry Potter adventure, which the US does not have. Naoko is nervous to go see them because she does not like big birds. I want to go, so I am asking her nicely to come with or wait for me to see them. While we are discussing this, someone taps me on the shoulder. I turn around to see a well-dressed mother and her 11-year-old daughter. They look pretty normal. The mother, Karen, is wearing a Harry Potter shirt, carrying several bags, and looking lost. Her daughter is begging to go on a ride. Karen pulls out a map and says, "Hey, do you speak English? I cannot figure out where this ride is." I point in the general direction we came from. I tell her, "I do, we just came from that ride over there." Karen taps the map with a perfectly manicured talon. But where specifically? Naoko pops in, because she is the most helpful person in the world. That is not sarcastic, she is wonderful. "You have pen?" she asks. She minds drawing on the map. I always have pens on me. I tell her, "Here, if you want, she'll circle it for you." Karen looks like I threatened to carve out her child's eyes and feed it to Izanami for breakfast. She jerks the sacred map to her chest. She tells me, Do not touch our map, just take us there. Naoko, like the kid from The Sixth Sense, whispers dramatically, "We see owls." I can see how annoyed Karen is getting. I am thankful that Karen has made Naoko more interested in seeing the majestic skycats. Anything, I think, is better than being around Karen. So I tell Karen that unfortunately, the freaks have left the building, and they will not return this session due to budget cuts in the freak account. I tell her, politely as I can, we are going to see the owls. Just ask one of the workers. We found a couple people who speak really good English. Naoko and I are off to see the wizard. Karen says loudly, "Just take us to the ride." No, we have to go now. My daughter is going to be really upset if we don't get to the ride before closing. Talk to an employee, ma'am. I am not a tour guide. But you're American. So I live here now. So you should help me. No thanks, have a nice day. Karen then turns to her daughter and tells her that I am not going to show them where the ride is, so they won't be able to do this before Daddy finds them. This 11-year-old girl proceeds to fall on the ground and start sobbing. "Don't you make a scene," she freaks out. So this girl is throwing an absolute silent fit, pounding the ground with her hands, all while not making any noise. Naoko and I decide we are going to leave. Karen is just standing there while we leave, telling her daughter we ruined the day. Instead, of asking the super bilingual employees. It was so weird. Yeah, it was those random people that didn't show us the way that ruined the day, not me, an incompetent Karen. Yeah, your issue is with next door. Many years ago, I worked in a large PC sales store in the UK, which was located on a retail park that also had several electronic stores. I had been with the company since 2003 and finally worked my way into the tech center by working my way through the store. I was trained in sales, customer support, tills, and warehouse. I would have to go between my actual job of fixing systems and checking on repairs with the main center and the customer service desk. This day, I was with my senior tech, and we were doing I serve one, he serves the other customer that walks through, and in comes a woman, and he tells me shop as his way of saying help desk, because my tech bench was behind the large sales board, so I couldn't see anyone outside of our fish tank of an office. I go outside, greet this customer, a lady in late 30s, early 40s, and she places a bag on the desk which contains something or another, and slams the receipt on the desk and inhales, and releases a tirade of how said item in bag was unfit for purpose. The anger and vitriol increased as she got whatever it was off her chest out into the open. My senior is peeking over his monitor, I see from the side glance, and I look down at the receipt and I notice the glaring logo at the top was for the shop next door. Seeing that I had now become distracted, she goes into the "Are you even listening?" And when she finally stops to take a breath, I politely pick up her receipt and say yes, I was listening, but I couldn't resolve her issue as she needed to go to the next store from the store she bought the item from. Her face was a picture as she realized what had just took the wind out of her sails. I am sure when she got next door, she didn't have it in her to go full nuclear over a faulty item or whatever the issue was. I walk back into the office, my senior says what was that all about, I explained and he was laughing for the next few minutes. So I had to do more front desk work as he tried to compose himself. Although there was a lack of full stops in that, I tried my best to read it and it still was a fun story. Hey everyone, I hope you all had a really good day and that you enjoyed that video. If you want to check out some other videos, then click on screen right now or check out the playlist down below. If you enjoyed that video, then please do leave a like. And if you want to submit your own stories, then you can do so by joining the Discord in the top link in the description. But thank you so much for watching and I will see you very soon.